Hey, yeah, so this morning I'm doing another vlog. This one's again another yoga vlog. It's gonna be yoga and some soccer. Oh, there we go. Yoga and some soccer specific stretches. So some light yoga. Another low intensity workout. When it comes to yoga, I don't really think yoga is a great thing for cardiovascular workouts. And the people who try to do that, I don't really think that's the best approach. For cardiovascular workouts, I'd really recommend running at a fast pace, bicycling, which is, bicycling is easier on the knees than even running. Brisk walking can be enough for most people, to be quite honest. And then also swimming. Those are the things that really get your cardiovascular rate going and test you cardiovascularly. When it comes to yoga, instead of trying to get through all the poses in the fastest way possible to get your heart rate up, I would focus more on stretching, relaxation, and even meditation. So again, preparation is key. And so taking time to prepare properly makes a difference. And that's true for athletics. It's also true for surgery and probably just about everything. There are some exceptions when you do want to rely on your instinct, but even preparation for that can improve that performance. And for yoga, I take off my shoes and socks so that I can relax. I think a lot of people do that. Or if you're on the grass, taking off cleats and getting to enjoy pristine grass. Barefoot is a lot of fun too, especially in a stadium. And I'm taking off my glasses to relax my eyes even more. I'd turn the lights off, but you wouldn't be able to see me that well with the lights off. So again, I just start in a comfortable position, standing, kind of assessing my body, doing some basic stretching and relaxation. I like to swing to feel my back, my erector spinalis. This kind of motion is also important for ice hockey, especially slack shots. This is the kind of swing that you have to get an excellent slack shot with perfect timing, which makes a difference for getting that puck into the net. It's another sport that I used to play in Canada, which I played for 2 years at the novice level. And had I stayed in Canada, I probably would have pursued ice hockey instead of soccer, since it's such a national sport in Canada. But I was even willing to be a goalkeeper, like Grant Furr, or a goaltender. But I like soccer. There's no doubt about that. I really like soccer. And I think Jamaica, we actually have, from my understanding, from what I saw online, we actually have an ice hockey team of some sort, which is made up of like Jamaican Canadians. So I probably would have ended up with them if I didn't make it on the Canadian national team. But those are definitely my ambitions, even from 4 and 5 years old in sports and athletics. Partly because my father played field hockey for the national team of Jamaica and traveled with Jamaica. To play sport. For instance, he went to Mexico, and I think he played in that famous stadium they have in Mexico with the high altitude. I don't know if it's Azteca or something, which would have been fun. All right, so I like to do these. I still haven't found out the name of these specific exercises. I know there's a medical term for it, like hip flex or something or whatever, but I'm looking for more of a soccer specific term. So this is what I like to do, just to relax and get a little bit more meditative in mind, because they're comfortable motions that I've been doing for such a long time. And then the opposite way with the leg. So this is internal rotation at the hip and abduction, something like that. And this helps with coordination and steps, and movement, which are important in almost all sports, if not every sport in athletics. In soccer, for instance, setting up for a good volley to finish, it's really important to get your footing and steps properly coordinated so you can adjust at pace and strike through the ball and score a goal. And it's true for ice hockey too, although it's different. And other sports as well. So, all right, there it is. That gets me a little bit warmed, and then it's time to do some stretching. So, the mat definitely helps with placement, knowing where your body is, having a kind of vertical to be aware of. So I'm just gonna get into a couple poses. I call this ski pose. It's like a table pose, but I feel like I'm skiing, like alpine skiing. And I can shift forward and contract some more of my adductors and my pectineus and groin. And I can shift back, and I kind of ground through my heels. Whew. You can also do squats, but the benefit of these slower motions is you really start to feel the specific muscles that are important for stabilizing those positions and knowing what those muscles are, which help with control. When you do these exercises too fast, especially when you're learning, you don't end up with as much control, which is something I've been aware of for a long time. Although I could have been better had I known more when I was younger. All right. So I'm just going to do a little bit of stretching for my back. Just getting the muscles on the side of my back. I think it's in some of my core, and also some of my abdominal muscles. What's the name of those two? Some of the lateral muscles of my abdominal cavity. My obliques, that's what I was looking for. All right. And down, touching the mat with my hands and holding that stretch, feeling it through my gastrocnemius bilaterally. And I want to do a little work on my neck just to help relax my back, because I feel a little bit of tension through my back and spine muscles. So I'm adjusting my elbows as I do that stretch because I can feel slight differences in those cervical muscles of my neck as I was moving my elbows inward and outward slowly. If you do it slowly, you'll feel the difference even more, and you'll become very aware of which muscles are being activated, which muscles are being contracted, which ones are stretching at the different times of those different motions, even if you don't know the specific names of those muscles, which will make a difference for you, for me, and everybody on this whole planet Earth. I work on my back so much because now I'm sitting and doing a lot of typing every morning and every day. And so my back does start to get tight and my neck gets tight from sitting kind of hunched over, typing on a computer. And my eyes also get tired, especially the muscles of my eyes, pupillary constrictors, lateral oblique, medial rectus, lateral rectus, superior oblique, or rather inferior oblique, superior oblique. There's like 6 muscles of the eyes plus those pupillary constrictor muscles, and there's some others, and then other periorbital muscles. All of that stuff starts to get strained and tired from staring at the computer screen even for long hours. And they even get tired from wearing glasses after a long period of time. Although glasses do help, still for me at least, to see certain things sometimes. So I don't ditch my glasses. But I did go through a period where I put away my glasses and I didn't use them for a long time. It was like 2 or 3 years. And my eyes felt way better. But yes, I had to walk up close to see things that I otherwise could have put my glasses on to see from a distance. But my eyes felt so much more relaxed, as did my entire body. And I was kind of amazed, because we're always taught that glasses are supposed to improve our eyesight, at least in the acute period while we put them on. But I know that they also do some, a little bit of damage to our eyes, as our eyes have to adjust to that change in refraction through the glass lens. And then, as a result of that, our eyes start to deteriorate slightly. Not as much as in proper health, but I'm pretty sure the glasses do affect our eyesight in a poor manner, in a very minimally poor manner. I just don't have all the evidence for that, but I know that's pretty much known by some ophthalmologist somewhere who really knows proper eye care, but it'd probably take a lot of work to find some of those papers. But obviously, eyewear is not detrimental to the degree of not using it, at least for me. But if my eyes could improve without like laser surgery, just from health and better eye care, then I would ditch my glasses for the rest of my life. Maybe my eyes will get to that point, but I'm not sure. I do know it's kind of possible depending on one's health status. So right now I'm just doing flexion and then extension, kind of in a table position, upward towards standing, just to work out my back muscles, and rolling all the way up. So some of the things that we do with soccer, some quadriceps stretching. This stretch is not the best for the knees, but I still like it, so I still do it. And I'll do another version of it. But it really helps with balance, as you have to stand on one foot while stretching. So I think that's the other reason why we do it for soccer, because it becomes very important for volleying. We have to be in these positions to be able to volley and to shoot and have good stability on one leg to do side volleys and even scissor kicks and stuff like that, which are quite important, and bicycle kicks. So I'm going to do the other leg now. So you can spot to help with the balance initially, but you do want to get to a point where you can look around, use your peripheral vision even, while balancing on one leg, because as a soccer player or a footballer or a footballista, when you're getting ready to volley or strike, you have to be able to be aware of what's around you, be into position, and still see the ball and adjust. So while spotting is important, also being able to relax in these positions, look around and do, one or two other things will make a difference. So that's being able to do about 3 things around the same time. In reality, it's really just one thing at one time and another thing that approximates the same time. Because that's how our brains work for the most part. But that's pretty much how it happens. There are some other processes, like that's not absolute, but that is definitely one part of it. All right, now I'm going down into frog position and relaxing. And then I'm going to do a little bit of stretching in my groins by putting my legs together and leaning forward into my groins, which is just a light stretch. I'm going to do some stretches for my groins. These are also very important for soccer, And we do them in multiple positions. This is one of them. Sometimes we call these butterflies. And then down into a seated position with my feet together. And again, pulling my little toes towards my head a little bit and letting my knees rest and fall towards the ground or the floor. So that's the second stretch for my groins. It's another soccer stretch. I know they do these in other sports, but we definitely do this in soccer. And now I'm just gonna rest in a supine position on my back, bring my arms above my head, and just catch my breath. And since I'm down here, I'll do a little bit of abdominal work, which is to raise my legs all the way up. And you can bring them all the way down. I'll do that about 5 times, which is all the way up and all the way down. And that's 3. And that's 5. Another way to work on your abdomens or your abdominal muscles is to just bring your legs up about 6 inches off the ground and hold them, which feels good because I've done this for such a long time. So for me, it's comfortable. And then down. And then we can do some sit-ups, taking your arms or hands behind the back of your head and slowly bringing your chin up towards your knees, just like that. And another abdominal exercise is to bring your legs all the way up, bend your knees, and now bring your chin and your elbows up to your knees yet again. So you get slightly different parts of the abdomen or the abdominal muscles. And then to work on your obliques, we'll now go from knee to knee with each opposite elbow. So that one side, then the opposite side, then this side, then the opposite side, then this side, then the other side, then this side, then the other side. And now the last one is to bring your feet all the way up. Stretch out your hands and touch your toes. Oh, this one's a little hard for me now. So just up towards your toes, and that'll work on the abdomen too. And I'm already feeling it, so that's enough abdominal work for me. But you all can do as many reps as you would like to do, and even work on carving out that chiseled 6-pack, 8-pack, 10-pack, 12-pack of abdominal muscles, depending on how much abdominal work you're willing to do, and how much exercise and high performance, high intensity exercise you're willing to do. So now I'm up in a seated position, and I'm just gonna stretch my legs and enjoy this stretch. And then I'll do a couple more quadricep stretches. One is bringing my leg back. This is also not so great for people's knees, but it does get a stretch for the quadriceps. So if you have knee problems, avoiding the things that affect your knees can be helpful. And knowing what to do to strengthen the muscles supporting your knees will make a difference. So we'll do it the other side now. And here we go. And that's enough for me. All right. Whew. Now I'm gonna get into an Indian seated pose or cross-legged pose, up into through a child pose to cat, and then in cat, I'm gonna now get into another butterfly position, or a modified cat, whatever you want to call it. But it's this position is again to work on stretching our adductors and groins. So I've kind of straddled the mat. My knees are down on the floor, and I'm getting into a comfortable position, really focusing on finding that stretch in my adductors by rolling forward or moving forward and backward till I finally get a comfortable stretch, which is right about there for me right now. So I'll just hold it, enjoy the stretch, and then continue to move into other positions like this one now, which is a little bit further back with my butt further back towards my feet, feeling that stretch as well. And now coming up gradually and slowly so I don't injure myself. Back into cat. My toes are touching the mat, curled so that the bottom of my toes are touching the mat. Sticking my butt up into the air and feeling the contraction in my lower back as my back starts to extend, raising my head up to increase that extension and feeling more contraction in my lower back. I'm slowly sliding forward, so my wrists are becoming more acutely angled with my arms to feel that contraction through my mid-back. And now I'm gonna go down into Cobra. And wow, push my head further back, again feeling the contraction in my lower back, again working on my back. Back pain is very common on Earth, especially in the 30s to 50-year-olds of humans, and also especially in the United States of America, partly because we sit at a desk for long hours using computers, partly because people pick up heavy loads and strain their back. If you're just sitting at a desk working on a computer, it's usually more from tension and tightness and weakness of your back muscles. So your back is getting tired and weak, and your technique for sitting and typing starts to deteriorate. So these kind of things help a lot. If you're straining your back from lifting heavy loads, the first thing is to decrease the loads that you lift and realize you're lifting too much for your strength capability. So doing these kind of exercises will also help, but if your back is already strained, then you have to rest to make sure you have nothing torn so that you don't do further damage. And you also should, if you have muscle strain, that's a good reason to go see your doctor. And if it's serious, they might want to do a magnetic resonance imaging test to look at those specific muscles to rule out a tear of any back muscle. Because if you do exercises with a torn muscle of your back, if it's only partly torn, you can completely tear it and have an even worse injury. So I'm getting into another stretch. My knee on the ground, right hand in front on the mat, and this stretches out my adductors as well. I'm really working on my adductors today again to stretch them, strengthen them slightly as I overcome all my old injuries from soccer. My injuries from soccer were, I had a bone cyst, which wasn't necessarily specifically from soccer, but I had pain while I was playing soccer, so I ended up having surgery for that. It was definitely aggravated by soccer. I had a broken right fibula when I was playing with the under-20 Jamaica national team as a trainee in 1998. Alvin Chinsu broke my leg, and After that, I ended up with a gastrocnemius tear, which was courtesy of Wesley Elias. He's a Haitian American who played for the University of South Florida. He also was in, I think, the under 23s men's national team pool for the United States. And then I also tore my right pectineus, and that was while I was playing pickup ball in Madrid, Spain, when I was there in 2002, as I was stretching to catch a ball with my foot, and then it tore. Those are my injuries, and while they do heal to some level, they never get back to perfect. Once it's injured, it will always be injured. Even if a surgeon tries to cure it, it still won't be back to perfection, which is really what you started with before the injury. So now we're going to do the other side. So my right foot is forward on the mat, my left hand palm on the mat, and leaning forward into the stretch. And again, feeling my adductors now on the left side of my leg, my inner thigh, right through my groin. So just lateral to your genitals, for instance, and down that leg of your femur. Or my femur in this case. And that stretch feels wonderful. This feels amazing. Oh God, it feels so amazing. All right, now I'm going up, back to standing. And that's almost like a warrior pose already. Bending over, stretching, and then all the way up in deep breaths. Oh, God. Just doing some shoulder shrugs backwards now. Wow. And now forwards. Slowly isolating some of my muscles, feeling that stretch as I move my shoulders forward, rolling them forward. My God. And eventually I'll go do some more stretches for my back. So that's pretty much most of what I wanted to do for the day. And that's about 30 minutes. 28 minutes and 39 seconds of slow yoga and some exercises, including soccer-specific exercises. I'm actually trying to get Wilmot Maximilian Ramsey to get into some of these exercises to help him with some of his health and performance. Wouldn't mind getting my sister into some of this, Nadine and Kenny. And then there's some other people, but those are the two that really could benefit from this the most right now, as well as everybody else watching these videos. Don't get me wrong, I'm not neglecting you all either, but these are some people who live right here in Massachusetts. Both of them actually are Jamaicans too. Wow, and this is an excellent stretch. I'm stretching my gastrocnemius right now. And yeah, anybody else who's definitely interested. If any of you all are in Boston and you want to join me, if you live in 02115, you can come right to the Marino Center with me and you can do some of this yoga in the morning. If you live in 02116, you can also join me. And you just need an ID and proof of address to come here. And it's free in the mornings from 5 a.m. till 9 a.m. If you live in the Boston area and you don't live in 02115 or 02116, then you can join me at my apartment once in a while. I have space large enough probably for 2 or 3 people total, which would be me and 1 or 2 other people. And if you want to know some other people who I used to watch on television and do exercises with, the one that I used to watch and enjoy the most was Jalad. There was also a guy, Jake, Body by Jake, who wasn't bad. And then there was that, what was that guy? Richard Simmons, who my mother had a CD or a vinyl disc for that I used to listen and do some of those exercises too. In addition to all the soccer. And the soccer for me was Streetsville Soccer Club in Mississauga, Ontario, where I really started. And then Seminole Soccer Club in Orlando, which had excellent facilities. And then, Bishop Moore High School soccer, as well as St. Andrews soccer. And then University of South Florida men's varsity soccer team for 2 years. Jamaica under 20 national team for 1 summer for training. And then Harvard Medical Soccer Club, as well as some other teams in the Boston area that were more amateur. And then also some coaching, which was Lauderhill Soccer Club down in Lauderhill, Florida. I also did coaching at Bishop Moore High School with Mark Keymont for camps in the summer. A little bit at USF for their camps. And I also did train with the Orlando Lions with Mark Dillon, which was a professional club in Orlando in like 1997 and 96. And what else there? And then Black Spurs FC up here in Boston. I coached with them. And also with a school, which is Curley Elementary School through Boston Scores and Mark Moniz. And now I've been focusing on Harborview Football Club in Kingston, Jamaica, to assist them with coaching, training, building of a soccer football stadium, or a football stadium, a Jamaican football stadium, which is the plan to build one that seats 40,000 people, will be used for football, will only be football specific, so no track and field facilities there. If anything, there might be a track independent of that. And then other facilities specifically for the footballers and athletes. And it can be used for things also like concerts, and then also for inviting other professional clubs throughout Jamaica and outside of Jamaica to play and train in Kingston, such as Real Madrid, Manchester United, Manchester City, Inter Milan, New England Revolution, Toronto FC, Los Angeles Galaxy, LAFC, New York Red Bulls, Orlando Soccer City Club, Bayern Munich, Bayern Leverkusen, teams from the Japanese League, J-League, teams from China, teams even from different parts of Africa, Ethiopia, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana. We'd have excellent facilities to really host some professional and national team clubs for even exhibitions on the island or small tournaments, and also for CONCACAF and CONCACAF Champions League and games with other Caribbean Cup nations throughout the West Indies and islands of the West Indies, and even for use by FIFA. So we're definitely looking for people to become involved in this organization process, from fundraising to securing a proper financial institution to maintain those funds. Obviously, taxation is going to be one thing that we have to be concerned about, and what else? And then also aligning with a construction firm, architecture firm, design firm, and other specific firms to actually help design and construct this stadium. 40,000 seats. That will be large in Jamaica, but it's not overly large for the island, and it's not so small that it just ends up being another small stadium. And it'll definitely be the first of its kind on the island of Jamaica. So I'm definitely looking for people to assist with that. If you're interested, definitely put a comment on there, send an email to me. And I'm already working with the club in Harborview and the director of the football club, Clyde Giorgiini, to get, to really get this project going so that it can be completed before my death, which hopefully won't happen for another 80 years. All right, well, you all take care. I hope you enjoyed the stretching and the yoga and the information about muscles in your body and preventative healthcare session. So go out there, prevent disease, maximize your health, maximize your performance, optimize each of those as necessary, and take care.